Louis Theroux, Duke and Jones, jiggle jiggle. My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me want to dribble dribble, you know, riding in my Fiat. You really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind, sipping some red wine. Shepherd's Bush, my compact push, Notting Hill Gate, my Fiat skate with a crate of Cabernet. But not today, because I gotta drive. I wanna stay alive, not cause it's illicit. Do I have to get explicit? As a matter of fact, I sip on the yak with Big and Reese, 200 diamonds in their piece. I'm trying to get mine so I can shine. Jiggle jiggle, I like to see you wiggle wiggle. Jiggle jiggle, I like to see you wiggle wiggle. My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me want to dribble dribble, you know, riding in my Fiat. You really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind, sipping some red wine. I think that went really well, don't you? I enjoyed it. Nice being in the booth. So, unless you have anything else, that's a wrap. Jiggle jiggle, I like to see you wiggle wiggle. Jiggle jiggle, I like to see you wiggle wiggle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. You're watching NuPath Live. Today is Thursday, July 28th. My name is Dan Harrison. I'm your host. We haven't talked together for 4 weeks, and I miss it. We've got a lot to share with you today. I've got a lot I want to talk to you about. When you don't see somebody for so long, you feel like you want to just cram it all in. We're going to do our best to touch on everything. I've got a couple of great guests for you that we want to work into this half hour together. But first, I wanted to share an update on something that I began talking about at the beginning of this year, and that is our friend, of course, the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST. Now, if you just to remind you all, on Christmas Day, this magnificent marvel of modern science, this telescope to be flying in outer space, was launched into space, and over the period of 29 days, this thing that was tightly bound up like a piece of origami inside a rocket began to open and extend and expand. There were 300 single points of failure, you guys, along the way. 300 places where this could have all gone off the rails and proved to be ineffective. But NASA we were all happy to rejoice that after those 29 days, it was fully operational. Then it needed 6 months to cool down. This has to do with the light, the infrared cameras that are used. This thing cooled down to 50 degrees Kelvin or 370 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cold. This has got a sun shield the size of a tennis court that's protecting it from the sun's rays, and it's orbiting 1 million miles away from Earth. So it's out there, and it is snapping pictures left and right of this universe. I am very excited about this. This is actually part of the inspiration that began to get me thinking about New in 22, this idea that we're going out into deep space, we're going to see what's out there, and we're going to begin to construct our new future together as an organization. I thought it'd be nice to get a little update. NBC is going to help me do it because there's much smarter people than me on this. It's just over a minute long, and I thought we'd watch it together right now.
The depth of space in scope and color like we've never seen before, all thanks to a massive telescope. NASA is now releasing the full set of images taken by the James Webb Space Telescope, the agency calling it the most complex observatory ever launched. NBC News correspondent Tom Costello has more.
These images are really just spectacular. For the first time ever, we're seeing these deep, high-resolution images of our own universe. So take a look at what we're talking about here and why everybody is so excited. Last night, NASA and the White House unveiled these first images known as Webb's first deep field, a kaleidoscope of galaxies as they appeared 4.6 billion years ago. Again, 4.6 billion years ago. Astronomer Neil deGrasse Tyson says the spiked objects are local stars. Everything else out there is a galaxy. Many of them actually distorted. They look like arcs. And this morning, NASA releasing more images one by one, showing a full spectrum, a color spectrum of an exoplanet. The life cycle of stars, how galaxies interact and grow. The first images we've ever seen because the Webb telescope uses infrared eyes to pull these faint and very distant objects like stars and galaxies into sharp focus. And what lies beyond, the naked eye can't even see that. So this is now even better than what Hubble could see. Hubble telescope, you may remember, launched back in 1990.
You guys, this is very exciting to me. We are witnessing just amazing science and discovery in play as we speak. And this is a time when scientists are learning more than we'd ever have been able to before. Some of the images we're seeing are 13.6 billion years old, just about 100 million years after the Big Bang. So we're seeing images that were happening about the time that our sun and Earth first began to evolve from the morass of gas. Okay, it's 22. That's what you're really here to hear about. Thank you for indulging me on that. We're going to bring Karen Franklin on in a minute, but I wanted to remind you all of the Walktoberfest event. You'll be hearing more with our grand rollout. But it's only 80 days away. So there are already teams that I know are beginning to strategize and work towards making this the most successful fundraiser that we've ever had. It's going to be just an amazing day, very different from what we've seen in past years. And I'm excited about it. I'm starting to get a little nervous because I think that this is going to be a tighter competition than we've had before. But all of you out there that are serious about helping us make our goal, get working on it. 80 days is not very long. We've been talking a lot about the new in 22, but I wanted to share something that's not as new in 22. I had happened to have lunch with a former board member, an involved parent whose son we provide services to. Her name is Bea Grayson. Many of you know her. She was a faithful and supporter and servant of the organization in so many ways. And I just got a short video of Bea after lunch. I asked her to just say a few words, and I thought you might enjoy seeing that with Bea before we invite Karen on to talk to us. Let's hear from Bea. Hey everyone, you're hearing the voice of Dan Harrison. I'm here with Beatrice Grayson. Hi, Bea.
Hello, Dan.
I thought that people might enjoy hearing from you. Many people remember you. You were on our board for many, many, many years.
Wow.
Still think of you fondly and came up to see you for lunch today. I thought it'd be nice to get you a video. Just, what do you have to say? Anything to NuPath?
I love NuPath, and for 24 years I was on their board.
Yeah.
As a parent, no special qualifications except that I was a parent. And NuPath has guided and protected and encouraged my son, David, and still does that kind of attention to his care. And I feel very fortunate to be part of NuPath in that way.
Bea, you're such a love. I will never forget all the ways you encouraged me during those early years. You were on the board when I was hired 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I helped hire you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm still impressed with the growth of NuPath and the care that Dan is giving to keep the staff together and excited and respected and cherished. And I feel that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's what we need, this love for people who are different.
Oh boy, I love that lady. I miss her. She said that your only qualifications were being a parent. I think that's like the most the most special qualification. Our families are so important to us. Parents of the people we serve are so critical and crucial to us doing the best job that we can hats off and all my love to the families watching today. Now, let's bring Karen Franklin, Vice President of Human Resources, on to speak with us about some of the new things that our staff need to be thinking about over the next few weeks in an important transition. Karen Franklin, welcome back to NuPath Live.
Hi, Dan. How are you today?
Well, we've missed talking to you on NuPath Live, and I've missed NuPath Live in general. I feel like when I do it, when we do it weekly, then I have much more of a chance to have these direct conversations with people. And then when I do see them, I feel like I'm just this waterfall of questions, and you know what it's like when you're trying to catch up with an old friend that you haven't talked to for a while. But we've invited you on today to cover a couple of things. One is specifically related, well, probably all of them are in a way or one way or another, to our staff, because you are our Vice President of Human Resources. And ADP is a payroll and timekeeping system that most people probably heard of, or in fact used in some sort of a job or part-time job in their lives. We are going to be using this as a tool for our staff to track their time and for us to manage their payroll, our payroll. Talk to us about what the schedule's like, because this is kind of a big deal, making the transition, and we're really going to be requiring all our staff to be doing what's asked of them to make sure that we're all good to go on the date of implementation. Can you talk to us about that for a couple of minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. So it really is a big deal. And some of our staff have asked, why are we transferring from Paycor and transferring over to ADP? Well, I think that the technology that ADP can offer, the platform, is just more in line of what NuPath needs from a technology standpoint, and can offer more simplicity for our employees. So those are the two basic reasons why we're going. One of the other reasons is we currently used two different things, right? We had Paycor for how you got paid and how you could look at your pay stubs and look at your personal information, but you had to go to Acumen to punch in and punch out, request time off. We want to make it as simple as we can, be up to date with technology so that people have everything at their fingertips. So now with your mobile app, you'll be able to clock in and out. You'll be able to request time off. You'll be able to look and change your direct deposit. You could look at your pay stub. So we found that really important. So we've been doing this behind the scenes for a couple months now. It takes a lot of work to get the whole entire organization and all the data up and running, and then getting the staff to where they feel comfortable using it as well. Last week we had a staff training, and we're going to be sending out a taped version of that. Today we have a manager's training, and then we'll have a taped version of that as well to share. We're planning on going live August 14th. So that would be the first day of a new pay cycle. So that's the day that everybody has to have that app up and running on their phone, make sure that they're punching in and punching out using that app. Some of the things that will be super helpful with ADP is it also puts a reminder on your phone, time to check in for your shift. So you won't have that issue of forgetting to clock in or forgetting to clock out. So that's helpful as well. So we need all hands on deck. We sent out some communications asking people to make sure that they worked with IT and their managers and got their NuPath email all set and running. And by the end of the week, you will receive an email from ADP, which will help you create and log on and download the mobile app. So you'll have both a desktop version, you'll have a mobile app version. You'll see your name, you'll see your basic information. You won't be able to utilize it until August 14th. And that's when the true data will be there and the ability to clock in and out. But it'll start to get everybody ready to use it, familiar with what the app looks like. And that also helps enhance the training that they either attended or will watch in the future.
Karen, do you know that in 2002, that's 20 years ago, I worked for a company called Elliott Community Human Services. Some people may have heard of it. It's a large organization headquartered in Lexington, Massachusetts. And at the time I was running the residential division, or the DDID division, and I was responsible for doing residential payroll, I remember. And they were using ADP, and ADP was online, had an online system at that point. And when I came to NuPath, I remember in 2003, I had to put my ironing board out with all these papers everywhere, trying to figure it all out. I was like, well, ADP can do it. So I can only imagine what they've done in 20 years to stay ahead of the times. And they are probably the best known and certainly one of the largest, which we hope can also provide some additional resources. You mentioned staff need to check their email. we're going to be pushing in a number of different directions to try to encourage staff to use their email more regularly, to be held responsible for knowing how to log into it and get messages. We know our staff are smart. We know that they have probably, are doing multiple kinds of online sorts of activity, that the concept of passwords are not unique to something that NuPath requires, but we're going to be trying to do more to encourage their use of that.
Right.
And this is going to further automate the whole process. And on the back end, aren't there some things that we think we can do with ADP, that's going to be hard for me, not ADDP, ADP, that we're going to be able to do and administratively to kind of strengthen our understanding of schedules and shifts and kind of like how things are all kind of playing together. It feels like there's a more robust set of tools for companies.
Absolutely. So one of the things that this tool will have is we have something where people that do awake overnights, they have a call-in feature that they need to use. So we're going to have that right here on ADP for them. So they're no longer going to have to use a third party. It's still a dial-in with the phone, but the data will be collected under ADP and under their person. The other thing is our per diem, our relief staff. This will have that ability to have that scheduler out there. So relief staff will be able to look, see what shifts are open. So that'll help our relief staff fill in any openings for people that are out on leave or taking a vacation day. And getting back to what you were saying about how important the email is, there are going to be some secret incentives. So people that are going to read their email, right, they're going to be able to see the secret incentives. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So getting onto your email and getting the communications from us will be key.
Well, we had a little excitement here on Monday morning, or Sunday night, actually. When email went out to calling all carnivores, you probably got that.
Yeah.
And there's fresh corn waiting among all the programs for the first come first serve early birds, if you will, and those are people that were reading their emails. In talking about measuring the things and understanding, having a pulse on the organization, can you talk to us about where we are now with vacancies? There are still many, many families that have their kids at home that have not been able to get back to day program. We know this is an issue that we're advocating with the state and hopeful that we'll see the long-term money come into our budgets. But we're trying everything. We're still pretty desperate at this point. Where do things stand and how do they look for us out in the field?
So there's a couple things I'd like to proceed by saying. Prior to the pandemic, NuPath held about a 12% vacancy rate. And a lot of our sister agencies were struggling with 30 and 40 and 50. And we felt very fortunate with the things that we had put in place and the offerings that we had and the organization that we are, that we had those low rates. So now we're post-pandemic and we're all struggling to get staff back. We're at a 27.09 vacancy rate. And that's important because it's down from 30. We were up around 30, 31. We are down. We are seeing people apply. But NuPath is also doing many, many different things, innovative things, fun things, regular things to attract candidates, to make sure that we're getting that top talent. Now, these numbers that we're talking about, we're basing that off of full capacity if we were back to full capacity. So we have 81 openings, 27.09 vacancy rate. We need those 81 staff members. 81 staff members to be able to get back to full capacity. Some of the things that we've been working on this summer are the employer.
Can I just stop you for a minute? So,
sure.
So what you're saying there, just to make sure it's clear for people, that this is kind of like a chicken and an egg thing, really, because we can't get the staff, the people that are at home waiting for services, and that we're about at only 60% occupancy in our day programs at this point. So that's quite a number of people that are out there. We can't get them back until we have the staff to serve them. But we don't need the staff to serve them if we don't come back. So we have to be doing this. The idea is hire this amount of staff. This allows us to bring back a certain number of people. And so it's really a little bit of a game, like having to play it just right, the right balance. But that's why it's so important that we know what the impact of our of success has been. I will let you finish on that really quickly, and then I want to talk about one more thing before we move on.
Absolutely. So our employee referrals still are one of the top ways that we are getting employees. So that's a great. Our employees enjoy working for NuPath and they want to invite their friends, and we have some incentives around that. We have some other programs that we work with outside agencies where we have done some mailers, and those mailers are really, really proving to be helpful with people reaching out to us. We don't have hiring stats. It's a little bit too early to see how many we'll hire from that, but we are seeing the volume of people applying. Another thing that we did, and I think you're going to be talking about this a little bit more, is we did a summer internship program because we wanted kind of like a community liaison, boots on the ground. That has proved to be very helpful. So it's not just one thing that NuPath is doing. It's continuous flow of several different activities, different initiatives to support getting those 81 people hired, and so that we can bring back everybody and get back to full capacity.
You mentioned summer interns, so that leads me to the person that we're inviting to be our guest in the second half of the show, the broadcast today, and that's a young woman named Carolyn Surratt. You are talk to us about Caroline and what she's done real quickly, and then we'll talk about what she's maybe doing as she goes back to college.
Absolutely. So let me just say that when we put the posting out there that we needed a summer intern, a community liaison, we asked for you not to file a paper application. We asked for you to do a video and why you thought you'd be the right person for the job. So Caroline was able to do that and win, how do I say, win all our hearts over that. We thought that her video was very creative. So she has, I think, really She exceeded our expectations with what she's been able to do and the ideas that she's been able to come up with. And what I mean by that is that community relations, just getting out there and saying, how can I spread the word about NuPath? She did all shadow shifts. I should have proceeded with that so that she knew how to share with people how exciting it is to work for NuPath and our clients, and different initiatives and things, just to a different look, I guess, of what's going on out there.
Karen, this is what I mean when you don't talk often enough to somebody that you just have too much to cram right in, but I'm out of time. So thank you for joining us today. I'm going to, as we transition to invite Caroline to come on, I just have one more question for you. Do you know this song, My Money Don't Jiggle Jiggle?
So I can't lie, I have heard it out there, watching a little video here, a little video there. I have seen that song, usually with puppy dogs, puppy dogs wiggling down the...
Well, you're going to see it again, but without puppy dogs, something else. So as we say goodbye to you, why don't you just you'll want to stay on and watch a couple of these next TikToks we're going to share with people. Thanks, Karen. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Episode about rap.
Can you remember any of the rap that you did?
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me wanna dribble dribble. Riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact.
Well, that was a lot of fun, but as much of a animal lover as I am, I think I take the cash over the puppies. I'm just saying. That was the handiwork of our next guest, and we're going to go to her right now. Carolyn Surratt has been with us for the summer, a Woburn native, and there you are. Hi, Caroline. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Community liaison and recruitment intern. What does that mean?
Basically, for the summer, I've just been kind of like going around to the different day programs like Westford, the Woburn ones as well, the residential homes, and just kind of visiting them and seeing what the staff does there, how they help the people we serve. And I've also been helping out with human resources a little bit, just following up on a few of their leads, talking to the new hires or even potential hires. And that's really been a good experience for me so far, and I've enjoyed it a lot. I've been learning a lot, and it's definitely something that I didn't think I would ever really get into or be interested in, but this field has proved to be super interesting and really rewarding as well. So I've had a good time so far.
Well, you're a remarkable young person. You have pretty much wowed us since we got your application video. In fact, when I started to hear things about you, I felt like it sounded too good to be true, that we were going to have reap the benefits of somebody with your skills. And right away, I thought, young people can do wonders for organizations to help transform them. And we are an organization that really is trying and has made it our primary part of our mission to avail ourselves of all new technologies. And even when the CEO is an old guy that doesn't always know the most current trends, he's smart enough to know what's the future. And that's why I've been particularly interested in what you can bring to the organization. You mentioned your college. You're at Stonehill College. You're going to be a senior this year. Did you say what you're studying? What your major is?
Yeah, so I major in communication and my minor is business administration.
And you're involved with sports and all kinds of extracurricular activities. Are you excited to graduate, to be done finally?
I guess a little bit, but I mean, going into, the real world and having, a real job is something that I'm going to have to do eventually, but it's a little scary thinking about it. So, I'll just kind of enjoy this last year as much as I can. But
that's good advice. Enjoy where you are, enjoy the moment. But, sometimes internships lead to full-time jobs and can be a fundamental for career direction. Our industry needs smart, talented people that can bring us up into the current the times. I always say that we're like about a decade behind when it comes to technology, and I believe that's just cannot be tolerated. Our people, the people with IDDD community, should have the rights and access to communication, to the internet, to any app, any system that's out there that's going to improve their lives, just as the greater world has. And so that's been a primary thing. So TikTok, you love TikTok. You're good at TikTok. I think anyone under the age of 30 just automatically was planted in them to know how to use it. I mean, I know about TikTok. I'm too busy reading scholarly journals, though, to I'm kidding. I'm not too busy for that. But I just, we need what we call digital natives to help us get this off the ground. And we wanted to explore what can TikTok do. We know some people on our staff watch it, use it. And we thought, what can we do to harness that? Let's watch another one of the TikToks that you have put together for us just as the beginning. And then I want you to hear from you as kind of some of your thoughts on how we can use TikTok for recruitment, just to connect with our community, to expand our workforce and so forth. So let's watch, I think it's just the one is the Get to Know 147 New Boston Street. Oh, I love our grounds. And it's going to be even more beautiful when our reflections pool, our water element goes in. You've heard we're getting ready to start that. That's going to be in memory of people we've lost. But TikTok, what do you think TikTok can do for NuPath and for our community?
Yeah, well, TikTok is an incredible app because it has an amazing outreach to pretty much every group of people that have a phone. Like there's kids that have a phone, they're on this app. There's adults, teenagers. I mean, maybe even elderly people. I don't know about that as much just because, it might be a little bit difficult to use it, but it is incredible because it can reach so many people because anyone can see the content you create with basically a simple swipe. You can go onto the For You page and you can see anything from like an ice cream thing, a recipe that's new you can try, the highlights from a latest sports game, and the videos we're creating that can kind of recruit people to come and join our amazing team once they see how awesome our buildings are, how great our staff already is, because they'll want to be a part of our family when they see these videos that are, catering to them. They're like, oh, this is going to be a great company to work for. They're current, they're cool, this is creative. And so obviously there's other videos like that as well, but TikTok definitely helps in that aspect just because it can reach so many people with just, something that's relatable for everyone. So.
What a beautiful answer. I wonder if your mother will be watching this someplace because she should be. I give the pats on the back to the moms for having such a cultured and well articulated and focused young lady as a daughter. you speak our language. What you're saying about reaching, connecting with people and potential staff. That's the kind of energy we love. That's the kind of something that's just a part of the core of who you are, and that we can put that to good use. Maybe we can help find something that will benefit the people that we serve and the staff that support them. I wonder if we'd have time to watch one more, and I kind of springing this on Greg, so we'll say this as we wrap this part up. As you go back to school, we wish you well and Godspeed and all of that stuff. But you're going to try to help us grow this account, or what do you call it, TikTok channel or account, or I don't even know if I had the language right. And we're going to be encouraging everybody, if you haven't checked this out, to look. We don't have anything posted there yet, right, Caroline? We're going to, or we do.
There's nothing there yet, but there's stuff coming soon. I promise. It's gonna
So
be great.
we're going to have a big, maybe we'll let you know when we have our big grand opening. But when it happens, you want to make sure you follow us and do whatever you can to support us. And when you watch any of it, you can think of this young lady here that's going to be helping us. That sounded so like sexist and dumb. Young lady, I'm sorry. This brilliant professional that's going to be helping us, who happens to be a digital native. How about that, Greg? Is there a TikTok that another one we can watch and get me out of this silly mess? Thank you, Caroline, so much for being with us today and for all you're doing for us. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Let's watch this.
Thank you.
Bye. Well, that was fun, and so great to talk to Caroline. What a accomplished young professional. I'm going to do the same mistake twice. We're out of time. We ran out of time. Too much to talk about. This once a month thing I don't like, but that's what we're going to try for a while. Thank you for joining us today. I've just received word that as this broadcast, that TikTok channel, account, whatever you call it, is live. Check us out. Follow us. Do whatever to share, and let's turn this into something fun and exciting. All right, everybody, we got this. We'll talk to you soon next month. Bye. I just had this thought, Greg.